Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So today I want to talk about a boring topic. The topic will be display campaigns. Display campaigns, yeah, you heard me right. So who's still utilizing display campaigns nowadays? Almost nobody, I guess, or very rarely, right? If you have worked in digital marketing before, you probably are one of these that are not utilizing it a lot anymore. And even I don't use it that often anymore. But I think it can be a golden nugget if you do what I will share today in terms of audience targeting, which not many people know about. Maybe they do, they used it in the past, they forgot about it. So this is what this video will be about how to make a display campaign work for low money and also being effective at the same time, okay? So stay here and let's jump right into it. Okay, cool. So display campaigns. We will set up a campaign and we will see how we can make it work in the best way. So as you can see, I've been running a display campaign in the past. Interestingly here also average CPC was really low, 4 cents, but that's not part of the video, but that's already showing you how cheap it can be to run that. You will never see that on other campaign types, but that's not the topic here. So let's create a campaign. Let's go in here, a new campaign. Let's go to create a campaign without guidance. Let's go to display. Let's go down here and add a goal. So usually I would include a proper goal here, like a form submission, like a lead, right? Or possibly also even like a product that I want to sell. And I would be setting that up in Google Analytics, this goal, and then importing it into Google Ads. I will make a video on that as well, so it's clear. But for this year, we're just going to add the automated goal that it gives me here, which is engagement. We will continue. You can or you can't, it doesn't really matter if you add this in here. For me, it never made a difference. I'm going to add it here just because it's suggested. Okay. But you can also leave it away and just continue and nothing will happen. So we will call this display, and this will be a service that we are offering, and it will be in online marketing, or let's say paid advertising. Okay, let's do that. We'll continue this. Okay, now the nitty-gritty part starts. Okay, enter a location. We will add a United Kingdom here because I want to target people from the UK. Just as an example, I would usually do Austria, right? But yeah, anyhow. What else? Location options. That's a first really important point. So what are we going to select here? Presence or interest? So what is it telling us? So we want to target people in the UK, but now it gives us two options: presence or interest, and presence, right? So people in, regularly in, or who have shown interest in your included locations is the recommended option by Google. Presence says people in or regularly in your included locations. Now the thing is, to be really honest, people in, regularly in, or who have shown interest in your included locations is usually not a good idea, to be really honest, because this part here, or who have shown interest in your included location, is often a no, because this means somebody possibly in Australia typing in paid marketing service UK, even if they might have a genuine interest of doing that, it's very unlikely, or at least to be really honest, I've hardly ever seen a campaign convert from people that are outside of the target country that you actually want to target, right? So if they are overseas, they might be interested in searching or researching stuff, but they will hardly ever lead to conversion. Especially for display campaigns, you want to focus on the lowest hanging fruit first. So I would do that sometimes, but it's very rarely, to be honest. Depends on the product a lot as well. So we will put presence here. So this is basically telling us that we are now targeting people with the browser language in English, which in this case might make sense because we want to focus on the lowest hanging fruit first, right? And we don't necessarily want to get native speakers to actually see the ad, even though in the UK, I'm pretty sure that almost everybody anyway has a solid understanding and speaking capability of English. So probably we could even remove it and would still target the right people. And even if you see an ad, you just click an ad if you can read it, right? So it's not a big issue. Usually I remove that, to be honest, and run the campaign like that. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do here now as well. Okay, so then we will go to the more settings section, ad rotation, optimize, prefer best performing ads all day. Let's keep going. So ad rotation, prefer best performing ad, that's fine. As you can see, they say do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely, which you wouldn't do, right? You want to have this one here. There were other options in the past, but these are not anymore available. So if you go back to more settings, we can go to devices, show on all devices. You could change that if you wanted to. Set specific targeting for devices, right? You could do that to simplify device targeting. And web targeting have been combined under the new options, mobile phones and tablets. Okay, so some have been put together, right? Under mobile phones and tablets, like apps, and I don't even know what that is, interstitial, yeah, whatever that is. App interstitial, yeah. Anyhow, you have those three options here. You can choose among the operating systems if you wanted to. So if you think like people should just see your ads on a computer, you can do that. If it should be a mobile phone, you can do that. And if it should just be a tablet, you can still do that as well. Which is nice to have, right? Operating system. Sometimes it makes sense to actually just choose iPhone users because by tendency, they are actually the ones that have a little bit more money, or at least it seems they are more willing to spend. Maybe because they have more money, maybe that's also a cliche and it's not actually true. But iOS and Mac OS, for example, you could potentially do a campaign based on that and then create another one based on Windows or whatnot, or Android or whatever, and see if there's a difference. But yeah. Cool, so that's that. So we'll keep that how it, so we didn't select anything here, that's okay. We select all devices again. We can now go actually down here to the more settings again and add schedule. Okay, you could put a schedule like from to, right, in terms of hours of the day. To be really honest, my personal experience is here that AI or the algorithm of Google is so well suited that they will actually target the right people at the right time, and putting some ad scheduling in here, I think just interferes with the capability of the algorithm. So I usually leave that open, even though some people argue, okay, I never see conversions on a Saturday or Sunday, right? Because people are just really maybe browsing my product from Monday to Friday. So I don't want to advertise on Saturday and Sunday. The issue though with that is, that's my personal experience, many people might be researching on the weekend so that they can actually buy on a Monday or on a Tuesday, right? And as we don't really know that, I prefer actually giving Google the capability of actually showing an ad to a time that Google actually tries to convert somebody. So I go here with Google and with their capabilities. Okay. And then more settings, campaign URL options. We don't need that. So we could add a tracking template that could be for a third-party provider where you want to pass in certain parameters. Let's say you're, I don't know, you want specific parameters because you want them tracked, right? Maybe ads, ad name, or whatever it is. You could put that in a tracking template. Sometimes I've seen that with external tools that companies use. But honestly, me personally, I probably used the tracking template 3 or 4 times in my career, not more often than that, because you also can always select UTM parameters, the automatic, or that they apply automatically. So you will always see the campaign name, the source, the medium, and all of these things anyway in your reports. So you don't have to add any suffixes or tracking templates. But sometimes it applies, but very rarely. Okay. Okay. Then more settings, no data feed, that's fine. Start date, I will choose that as the 10th because I don't want to accidentally spend money, which can cost me a lot of bugs. So dynamic ads, don't content exclusion. That's a very important one. So usually, especially for display campaign, you have to make sure that you're on the safe side here and really target again the lowest hanging fruit, as said before. So I usually select all of these because from experience, I can tell having these on often lead to a less good performance. And also, I don't really want to advertise my product in a content or in a context, basically, which is one of these, to be honest. I want people to be chilled, maybe on a news page, and then see my ad, or on different pages that are really suitable. Cool. That's why I go with this. And usually I also select content not yet labeled, because that could be also weird content, could also be tragedy and conflict, and I don't want to show my ads there. Also, from a brand association and perspective, I guess, I don't want to be advertising there. And many clients are quite picky about this as well. So we will put €5 as a budget. This one is an important one, right? So the bidding, right? How do you want to bid with a display campaign, which usually or hardly ever leads to a conversion, right? So you could, of course, try the conversion event here, but I would suggest if you run a e-commerce store or products, conversions, even for a display campaign, might not work really well. From my experience, you would rather pick an event or a goal which is a little bit further up the funnel. For example, you could even do like a product page being viewed, right? So you know somebody actually has an interest in the product for e-commerce. Otherwise, you end up with maybe 1 or 2 conversions, spent maybe €1,000, and the algorithm can't really optimize based on 1 or 2 conversions, right? I mean, it's got common sense basically. Therefore, I think that doesn't really make sense for display. In many cases, even view-through conversions are often not high. It depends, of course, on your product. For example, let's say you run a B2B campaign and you want to generate leads for a webinar, and that's a free webinar, right? Then conversions probably make sense. You probably get, like, for €1,000, you might get a lead for €10, right? Then you end up with 100 leads, which gives the algorithm enough to work for and to optimize your ads. Viewable impressions is also okay, I guess. I usually don't use that. I usually go straight down here to the select a bid strategy directly, not going to these ones here. I mean, they're recommended, right? I go down here usually because they don't really make sense using max conversions, to me at least. And then I like to go either to max clicks or manual CPC. Actually, for display campaigns, I still often utilize manual CPC because it's up for testing, but that's my recommendation. Let's go to next. So now this is another part. So Google Ads rolled out optimized targeting as a automatic setting to, I guess, almost every campaign. Like PMax has it, Demand Gen has it as well, right? But you can still opt out of that in a display campaign. I believe you can also do it on a Demand Gen campaign. I don't think you can do it on a Performance Max campaign, because Performance Max is basically based on signals, whereas a display campaign is based on signals or a targeting setting. So at the moment, we are actually opted into optimized targeting is set up for you, right? You get more conversions by using information such as your landing page and assets. But you can also opt out or speed up optimization by adding targeting first. So what does that mean, actually? So Google actually admits that optimized targeting is not necessarily the best way to optimize your campaigns initially, right? Because if you have a specific target in mind, audience in mind, and you know your audience, your target audience, and you put your targeting settings, as you can see here, you can opt out or speed up optimization by adding targeting first. Your targeting settings may perform or outperform optimized targeting, right? And to be really honest, I believe that in many cases that is the case, because optimized targeting is a nice feature, but it usually just works well if you have a longer history in your account. You have seen many conversions and Google actually knows about your audience already quite well. Then I think you can use those signals from the entire account and go after the right people. But the issue is sometimes also if you have a history, but your spend was low and you are, for example, in a B2B environment, this can be a bit tricky, I believe, for a Google Ads campaign as well, to actually focus on the right people, because with a low number of conversion signals or conversions in general, Google Ads will still struggle. Or if your budget is low, even if you have been running it for a while, Google will struggle. So it's up for testing, I guess. You could even run both, like an optimized targeting campaign versus a targeting campaign, and then just see for yourself. But in general, I would say for a display campaign especially, I would always go into the targeting setting. So we will add some targeting here. Audience segment, suggest who sees your ad. So that's powerful now. Now we're coming to the fun part, right? The audience targeting is so important, right? Getting the audience right can make or break it, right? So let's look into that. And here's my secret tip that not many people, even marketers, don't know about or don't utilize. If you go to browse, of course, you can select like detailed demographics. You can do that. All of these, right? In-market segments, affinity audiences. This is quite broad. This one is a little bit more specific. It's looking at people in their consideration phase if you target in-markets. And then, of course, your data segments, like a customer list that you upload, that would be cool if you have. So if you have newsletter and you have 2,000, 3,400 signups already, then use that as an additional targeting or as your main targeting, combined audience segments, and your custom audience segments. So for me personally, this one here is very powerful, especially if you don't have this past data yet, no email lists, not really enough people on your account yet, like being advertised to. Or actually, I recommend this one in many cases. So what I really like to do, and I guess I'm getting a bit warm here, and that's probably the powerful part, is creating a custom audience list. And that's basically the trick that I wanted to get into and also share with you. So what you can do is, and I created that before just to double check if I can still do it the way that I wanted to do. So I did that a couple of weeks ago, and it still works. So that's a segment or a strategy that I used for probably more than 5 years, okay? Because I personally always felt I get best results here. So let me show what I'm doing. Custom segment. We are going to name this, for example, keywords. Actually, it would be keywords, and then I usually put the term. So for example, paid advertising. I think that's what we said online maybe, was the campaign name. And then people with any of these interests or purchase intention, we could choose that. Or we could choose people who searched for any of these terms on Google. So as you can see here for the first one, enter keywords describing your ideal customers' interests or products and services they are actively researching to buy. Okay. So as you can see, it talks about interests or people actually being in the buying mode, so to speak, and really considering products, right? And are really actively researching. Your ads will reach people with those interests or purchase intentions based on your campaign settings, such as marketing objective or bidding strategy. Okay, that's the first one. So it kind of takes interests plus consideration audiences into account. Now look at this one, people who search for any of these terms on Google. Enter search terms your ideal customer is using on Google. Okay. So for example, they might be searching for paid advertising online. Your ads will reach people who search for those and similar terms only on campaigns running on Google properties. Okay, that's okay, right? On your other campaigns, the terms will be used as interests or purchase intentions. Okay, so as you can see, it's a little bit weird how they phrase it, right? Because as they say here further down, on other campaigns, the terms will be used as interests or purchase intentions, which is basically the same like this one here, right? So oops, let's go in there. Your ads will reach people who search for those and similar terms only on campaigns running on Google properties. Okay. So if they're searching here on Google and type in these searches, then of course, Google has the capability to match those people to their, to that ad, right? And actually show and trigger that ad for those people, right? If they search on the Google properties. If they're not running here, let's say on a website third party, and somebody searches or has possibly an interest or a purchase intention, Google buckets them in there, and then it will also show the ads, right? But in essence, what that says is this audience here is exactly the same like this one here, but it also gives the capability of targeting people that really type in a keyword in Google search properties, like in Google search, right? Or maybe there's another Google property, but let's say maybe it could be even YouTube potentially, right? But wherever that is, right, a Google property, which makes it a little bit more, how should I say, possibly specific, I guess, a little bit more specific. Also because there's a search intent, somebody searching for paid advertising online, there's a specific intent to solve a problem, correct? There's a interest and a purchase intention is more like up to Google to decide if there's an interest, which is an affinity audience basically, or a purchase intention, which would probably be a consideration-based audience. So it kind of tapping into this upper funnel and the middle funnel for the first one, interest and purchase. And the second one, it gives a little bit more to it, right? It's more like people searching for service, which could be in the conversion phase. Somebody who's searching for paid advertising agency, paid advertising company, a NIMI. We know they're not considering that much anymore. They already know they want to get a advertising agency to work with them and are more qualified leads. So that's why most of the times I actually rather recommend this here. And I usually go with that because it's kind of anyway the same like this one, but it gives you this extra layer of actually targeting keywords that people actually search for on Google properties. Of course, this audience up here will also be based on keywords and their interests and audience profiles, and it will be very good as well. But why not take this one here? I mean, you could test it as well, right? You could take this one or this one, and you could even create 2 campaigns potentially and just compare results. You can do that as well. But yeah, for me personally, I usually use this one. I will put a few terms here. And it comes up with really good solutions, suggestions, sorry, overall. Online advertising. Let's just do that. Agency, and then what does it come up with? Online marketing agency. Okay, let's use this one. Online digital marketing, best digital, blah, 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 company, and so on. Solutions, possibly service. And then, yeah, let's keep it here. You can actually add more keywords. That's actually a good thing. So in the past, I believe when you utilize this strategy, you actually needed to put in at least 50 keywords for the algorithm actually to go after the right people and find them. Otherwise, it wouldn't have enough data. And you actually, as a prerequisite, had to, I think it was 50, add 50 keywords. I, in general, also like to keep it a bit higher, even if it's not as close. You could even tap into social media advertising agencies or creative agencies, something like that. Make it a little bit wider, I think. And then, so that's it. Keywords, paid advertising online, right? We're going to save this. Let's move this on this side. And as you can see, we have this in here now. But now, and here comes the trick now, we will create another segment. We will name it websites and then competitors. Okay. Here comes the beauty. Expand segment by also including people who browse types of website. Similar to, and here you can now type in all the names of your competitors and make use of this segment. That's the really powerful thing. So now imagine somebody has been at, let's say, in this case, just an example, we put Publicis Media, which is also a marketing powerhouse, right? A really big company. You could put other names here, Group M maybe, or what else, or PhD. Omnicom if you're competing with these, right? So you should probably find similar websites to your own, which makes most sense because the right audience will be sitting there, right? And I would also recommend to add at least 5 or so, or maybe even 10 URLs. You can even do more. If there are more, then put more, but at least 5 to 10. So that Google has enough data and you actually can serve your ads as well. Because if this number will be really small and similar sites are not that many, then of course you will be struggling. And now we're going to save that. Okay. And now look where the magic happens. You go to combine segments. Okay. I created these ones already in the past. I'm going to create a new combined segment and I will call it websites plus keywords. And I will name it paid advertising terms or something. It's okay. And then I'm going to say include people who match the following conditions. Match any of these segments. So we go to browse. We will go to custom segments. We will go to keywords. That's what we just created. And now we're going to use narrow your segment with an and condition. So we want to have and not or. So we will go here to custom segments again. We'll add websites. And as you can see here now, we have a and condition, which makes it so powerful. Now we have people that are searching for paid advertising companies, agencies, services, etc., but also already have been to a website like your competitor website, and you can target them now. So you can be quite sure that these people are in the conversion phase, maybe still consideration phase, but they are really qualified leads, really qualified. So if you now put a really good offer in their face, if it's a display campaign, an image campaign, or a video campaign, chances are you might attract them, get these audiences almost for not free, but not at a high cost usually on a display campaign. And you might have a really good lead, get it into your website and nurture it down the funnel. To be honest, from my experience, I would say on average, I've seen a 4 to 5 times better CTR. Usually it's the CTR that I track on display campaigns because often conversions are very limited still. But the CTR is so much higher because just the ad is really geared towards the right audience, which gives you the option and the capability of really nurturing qualified leads and improving your lead nurture funnel. And that's why that's so powerful. So you can go to create now. As you can see down here as well, that's important. Optimized targeting, they want to opt you into that still. So it wants to opt me into the targeting section, but also the optimized targeting, which I don't need now because I've set up my targeting here already, which will bring down the numbers quite a bit usually, but that's all I need. Am I going to add a different targeting? Probably I don't need it. I've already defined what I'm after, exactly these people, even demographics and topics and keywords and placements. This one actually is an important one still, where you could now as well, have a more detailed look if you wanted to just advertise on specific channels or videos or whatnot, right? As you can see here, choose specific websites, videos, or apps where you'd like to show your ads. If you wanted that, and if you're quite concerned about not showing them at places that you don't want, you could still do that. I usually just go with the standard initially, and then I refine further down the track. So I would keep that as this. And then basically I'm just following through the prompts. Just going to put Google.com here. And yeah, I'm just going to add image, going to add a logo. I'm going to add a video if I can. I think video is so powerful. Utilize video if you can. It's not so hard to make a video. Even use your camera, speak about your service, talk about, what you can offer, about your UVP if you have one. Maybe even, you really want to tap into new clients quickly, offer them some, I don't know if you should go down the discount route, but maybe just give them like a lead magnet, like just give them something that they might be after. Whatever it is, even if it's like a free audit, for example, which many people do. So be a little bit more creative. So you could even, play a bit in in this context and basically say nothing is free, or, just, it's about engaging audiences, entertaining them as well at the same time. Just be creative. What you put there. Headline, long headline, we can just follow that through. Then you can either go to create an ad or next. Now it will come up with errors because I didn't fill in everything. But in essence, once I've done that, errors, I can actually publish that ad and we are all good to go. But I'm not going to put that in here now because there's no sense. I mean, you will anyway know how to do that. Optimized targeting is off. That's important to check. And that's how you set up a really strong display campaign with good targeting. And you trust me, it will make it worth for you. Okay. I hope you like this channel and this video. Please consider subscribing. It's a win-win for everyone, for you, for me. You keep it in mind. You can come back to other content easily, etc. So yeah, I would be happy. And yeah, keep watching, keep learning. Bye-bye.